Welcome back. Now, Jane Vanessa Willie is a certified relationship coach with 9 years of experience in counseling and coaching. She is the founder of the Vanessa Foundation, an NGO, and she is also an on-air personality. She has a Mandela Washington Fellowship, and today we're going to be talking about what having kids could do to your marriage. Have you ever thought about that before?
I didn't know it could do something to your marriage, but I mean, I never planned on having kids on time because I'm like, if I'm waiting to get married, then I might as well enjoy being with my husband.
For a bit,
yes, before the kids come.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense. I'm sure Vanessa is standing by.
Yes.
Are you with us?
Yes, I am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
I
Good
love
morning
your
to
hair.
you.
Love it.
Thank you. Hello,
Okay.
Dynamite.
So let's jump straight into it. When you use the term "due to your marriage,"
Yes.
it often sounds on a negative angle. But there could also be positives. Am I right? Let's try and balance it out. How do we begin?
Of course. Of course. Children generally are a blessing. If you've had kids, you will understand how much pleasure they can give you, how much joy they can give you. At the same time, they can be a lot of work. So picking one and leaving the other, you'll be missing out on a whole lot of things. So pretty much what I want to do today is to help you to understand it and be able to do better with it.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So where do we start from? Do we start from the day of the wedding, after the wedding night? Is that where we're going to start from? Because I'm thinking about that decision to have children. A lot of people don't think of it as a decision. What would you say to that?
Exactly. I think that's pretty much a lot of that's in fact that's the crux of the conversation today, because a lot of us didn't think about it. You know, we envisage being married, wearing wedding dress, walking down the aisle. I mean, since you were 6, you probably have been fantasizing about this big day. But not much is said about what happens after, how you cope with what happens after, the reason for postpartum depression and all of that. All of that come to play when you don't understand what happens on the other side after the big day.
Yeah.
So one of those days, one of those decisions to think and talk about is having kids and when to have kids. Because the truth is that children will change your life, whether you like it or yes, it is a certainty, even for the calmest of kids. And that affects marriage in a way that if a couple don't understand it, they begin to put that pressure on themselves at, attacking their person instead of the issue. I don't know if you understand. So helping them understand what the problem is takes the focus away from them. So it's not me against you. It is both of us against this issue, trying to solve a problem. Not the child as the issue, but the circumstances that has come as a result of having kids.
Okay.
One of those issues will be having less time for each other, because now a lot of demand, is put on your time. Aside from increased chores, activity, having to care for somebody else other than yourself. And oftentimes you don't even know how to care for this child because every child is unique. Even if you've had 5 kids, a mother will tell you that 5 of them were 5 different experiences. So they need to understand that. Okay? And then how do you manage this increased responsibility? Oftentimes what you see in a marriage is the woman is burnt out, full of complaints. She starts bickering, I've done all this all day, you do that. And you also forget that your partner is also playing some kind of responsibility. But the truth here is learning how to communicate those desires in such a way that you're not attacking each other. So for a woman who feels worked out, she's been there trying to care for the children, ask for help. Ask for, get as much support as you can. There's no trophy. Nobody's going to give you an award for being a super mom. I feel like we try to take on a lot because we're trying to prove a point to ourselves that we are not failures. We can do all things. And then we are burnt out. And the things that are important, we don't have attention or time for them. Like your husband, he needs time, he needs your attention. So you need to ask for help and ask for it directly. Don't go around it. Men do better when your request is put directly. Please, can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? Don't think he will magically think about it and be thoughtful and do something about it. It often doesn't happen. Not because the man is not thoughtful, but they just don't function that way. They have also been wired by culture to think that the home is a woman's responsibility. And let me quickly just chip this in. It is wrong for a man to think that raising of a child is a woman's responsibility, because that with time has proven that it's a wrong philosophy, and it has a lot of effect on the male child. So imagine a man who is being raised by a woman. It will be difficult. You see him throwing his emotions all over the place, not being able to put things together, always running to friends for counsel. The quality of his decision are mainly watered down because that balance is not there. More often than not, he gets the tender love. So love has two edges, the tough love and the tender love. The balance of having a man in a male presence in the male child life is to give him that tough love. Tell him what it's like to really be a man, while you have the balance of the mother giving him the tender love. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, there are some cases where that is actually flipped around,
Exactly, I
where
was gonna
the
say
dads are actually a lot softer, and then the
yes.
women are now seen as the disciplinarians. But then I want to go back to the topic in terms of the sense that we were saying, what does it do to a marriage?
Okay. What does it do to your marriage? I've talked about increased time and increased chores that affect time, quality of time, and also can increase the intensity in the marriage if it's not properly managed. That can increase nagging and stress and irritation and all. The next one is the quality of your sex life. Now, that is a huge problem. I mean, time will not even allow me to overemphasize on that. So I always encourage couples to be deliberate about having sex dates. So you'll be like, okay, so I need to have a calendar for when I'll have sex. Well, not like that, but yes, like that. Reason being that as a single person, when you are going out, you plan to hang out, you go on fun dates and things like that. And some of them lead to, having quality, intimate, time. But when it comes to marriage, you now feel like, because I'm married, I shouldn't plan about it. I shouldn't put that in the agenda. I think you should, because if you're not deliberate about it, you're going to have issues. Being adaptable. I always say that marriage is about adaptability, your ability to adapt. So if you understand these things, like someone who is going to the gym, you're going to have times when your body is going to ache, but the ultimate result will be that you have the body that you desire. So you need to be willing to put in that work so that you can, in turn, enjoy what you hoped to get out of the relationship. Because the omelette is as good as the eggs. Does that make sense? Then lastly,
sorry, before you say your last point, I would like you to channel your point from the angle of someone who is yet to be married. Now, how do you prepare yourself for what your children can do to your marriage?
Well, understanding that your time will be affected is one of them. Understanding the truth about having kids is that you really, no matter how I paint the picture theoretically, you don't quite grasp it until you're in there.
Okay.
Because
and that's the best way. That is the best way to wrap it up. You can't exactly put a handle on it until you're in there.
Yes.
Don't worry, you have time. Don't worry. We'll continue this conversation and hopefully we'll be able to get comments and contributions on social media as well. Just make sure you use our hashtag WakeUpNigeria on TVC. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for joining us.
Yes.